Welcome to the Care for Kūpuna podcast, where we dive into health, wellness, and vibrant living of our cherished Kūpunas. We are thrilled to take you on a journey exploring everything from health and wellness tips, deeply rooted in the spirit of Hawaii, to navigating the intricacies of retirement, preserving our rich culture heritage, and fostering vibrant communities for our elders.
Whether you're a Kūpuna yourself, a family member, a dedicated caregiver, or simply someone passionate about supporting and uplifting our elders, this podcast is for you. Each episode is crafted with love and the intention to inspire, inform, and celebrate the golden years. So sit back, relax, and join us on this meaningful journey as we care for Kūpuna.
Welcome to this week's episode of Care for Kūpuna, where we care for our Kūpuna. I'm Lonnie.
And I'm Trina.
And we are your Kūpuna Care Girls. And today we are very proud to announce that we have one of our trusted partners of Care for Kūpuna, Brian Arisumi of Arisumi Financials. Brian, is that the company? Okay. All right. Well, tell us. Hi, Brian. Thank you for joining us. Tell us a little bit about yourself and how you got started with what you do.
So it's kind of like not, the chosen path that a lot of people take. Born and raised on Oahu, went to school, at Roosevelt, graduated 99. And growing up, my mom was always in the kitchen, and I liked cooking and helping her. So I went to KCC to do culinary arts. And then I kind of didn't want to do that for the rest of my life. I still enjoy cooking for friends and family, entertaining. But I didn't want to be, in the kitchen as a job. And an internship, I actually liked more of the front of the house instead of cooking. So from basically 99 up until 2017, I was in the hospitality industry. So I worked in the cruise ships, restaurants, managed, restaurants. Then I moved to Vegas for 10 years in 2010. And then when I got fed up with the industry, I was like, you know what? I'm tired of kissing butt for tips. I started building furniture in my garage, and then, that paid the bills for about 6 months. And this kind of fell into my lap. One of my friends invited me to a Christmas party, and, I met some people there because Vegas is very transient city, right? And, all I knew was the restaurant and nightlife, scene. And so I was invited to this party. I met some other, people in this industry, the financial industry, and, they lived in an amazing house. I was just like, wow, this is crazy, this kind of house in Hawaii would probably be $4 million, but in Vegas, only 600,000. Back in the early 2000s, So she invited me to her office and kind of, we're talking and she's like, let me talk to you about some of these, financial concepts, right? Talked about inflation, taxes, risk and all these things and stuff that you kind of know, but don't really know. And I was like, man, this shed a whole new light on, my personal finance, how I'm preparing for retirement, because in the restaurant industry, there's no 401k, for servers and, maybe if you're a restaurant manager, but, even because you made more money serving, I didn't want to be a manager in Vegas. So, there's no 401k option, no retirement option for me. I spend money as fast as I could, get it, so it's kind of really shed a different light on, money. And I just felt that this was something that everyone needed to learn about or know about so that they can make better decisions with their finances. So I moved back to Hawaii in 2019. So I started doing this in 2018, got the hang of things. And then my company allowed me to, go, I'm independent, so I could do whatever I want. So I moved back home and 2019. And now here we are in 2024.
Yeah. Wow. Isn't it amazing how different events in your life lead you to what you're meant to do in life? Yeah. So that's awesome. I have a 2-for-1 question. So if you can share, how can life insurance help our Kūpuna and their families, and what role do annuities play in securing retirement income for Kūpuna?
So much. That answer or that question is it's not hard to answer, but it's very simple, but it might be a lot to absorb. So let me try and break it down a little bit. So life insurance nowadays has evolved like tremendously. And nowadays they have something that's called living benefits or accelerated death benefit riders that are built into life insurance policies. And they can act as like a long-term care for, chronic illness. So, as people get older, eventually we will be unable to take care of ourselves, right? And most people do not want to send their parents to a nursing facility, right? So, and those cost a lot of money, right? And to purchase long-term care at that age is very expensive, right? I'm sure you guys know, right? So, if you were to be a little younger and get a life insurance policy with these living benefits, it could alleviate the financial burden that you or your family will have to pay to get that ongoing care. So chronic illness, is considered being unable to perform 2 of the 6 activities of daily living. So eating, dressing, toileting, continence, transferring, from laying down, standing up, sitting down, movement. If you're unable to perform 2 of those unassisted, you could qualify for the living benefits, which will accelerate your life insurance death benefit. So you can use it before you die. So that answers the life insurance part. Annuities, our parents' generation or the Kūpuna generation now, they're all baby boomers, right? And their upbringing was, they were, I guess, told or taught to go to school, get a good education, so you get a good job, and your job will take care of you the rest of your life, right? And so the baby boomer generation have saved all of their money from their jobs in 401ks and IRAs, pensions, and all those things. But when they retire, they need to move that money into a product that's going to be able to pay them for the rest of their life, right? So an annuity is kind of like an allowance. So you put a large sum of money into this account that usually life insurance companies provide. It's not a life insurance product, but it's offered by life insurance companies, and they can give you systematic payments over time, kind of like an allowance. So they could pay either monthly, quarterly, semi-annual, or annually, and basically, that would give you income for the rest of your life. And also, some annuities, they have this feature that's built in that will guarantee to pay you until you die. So if you live too long and the money is gone, the life insurance company made a contract with you to continue paying you until you die.
Wow.
If you pass away too soon and there's money left over, that money gets transferred to your beneficiary. So, it's kind of like a no-brainer, right?
Right.
If I pass away too soon, there's money left over, at least somebody gets to inherit that money. If I live too long, which a lot of Kūpunas are afraid of, right? Running out of money while they're still alive. That's not a problem either, because life insurance company will guarantee to pay them until they die.
Wow. So you did touch on how life insurance protects multi-generational wealth for families a little bit, but is there something else that we want to add to that? Because I feel like a lot of people don't really look at this in the overall picture, but it really does protect generational wealth for families.
And it's not like a one product or vehicle solves all the problems, because you're going to need an estate plan with a trust set up and the right type of trust. And then, having the trust is basically a separate entity that shields, your wealth from the government, right? So, also, liability, things. So if you have businesses or your investment properties, you want to assign LLCs and put them in individual LLCs so that if something does happen in your property, you are protected. They can't come after all of your wealth. They can only come after that one property value. So, so it's one piece of the puzzle. Like life insurance, can give you that layer of protection. And also for some people who are super wealthy, and life insurance doesn't make sense because they are actually self-insured, right? They have enough assets that if something does happen, they're not stressing out financially and stuff like that too. So.
Okay. Well, do you have a story or testimony you'd like to share that you've helped a kupuna and their family maybe?
So I have not had the, I guess, opportunity, which is good, to have to file either a death benefit claim or a living benefit claim to any of my clients. However, a few colleagues of mine have had, and there's this one person in particular. He purchased a life insurance policy at the age of 40 back in like 2015, I think. And the purpose of that life insurance policy was for him to build retirement funds, right? So he was using that life insurance to save money so that he could drive for retirement. Unfortunately, in 2018, less than 3 years later, he was diagnosed with colon cancer. So he had surgery, went through chemotherapy. He's fine. His cancer is in remission, but he was able to file a living benefit claim with the life insurance company, and he got a check for, I believe, $220,000, which was about 1%. Wow. Yeah. So, and he was still employed, so he did have health insurance. And, when he received that benefit money, there's no restriction on how he had to spend it. So, I paid off his mortgage. He took some time off to, fully recover and focus on recovering. He didn't have to stress out about his family, making ends meet, things like that. So, I think that's the peace of mind is like invaluable.
Yeah, definitely.
I guess my parents too, I was able to roll over their retirement accounts. And then when COVID hit, the markets took a hit. They would have lost like 20% of their retirement, which was already protected. Right. So I showed my dad his statement. Hey, look, you know what happened? He's like, no, what happened? Because he doesn't really pay attention. Like, COVID happened, and the stock market went down like 20% in like 1 month. Yeah. Oh yeah. I was like, yeah. And your anniversary for your annuity that we set up came out in April, and it happened in March. So, even though you didn't gain any interest, you didn't lose anything.
Right.
So, he's like, oh, that's pretty good, huh?
That's great.
Yeah, that's great. So,
So Ryan, do you want to highlight any of your services or things you want to provide to our listeners?
Yeah, absolutely. So I do reviews. So if you already have a life insurance policy, I can go over it with you just so that you remember what you purchased. Because who remembers, who has a life insurance that bought years ago? Like, yeah, I have a life insurance. I pay this much for this amount, but they don't really know what the policy entails. So I can do a policy review with you just to make sure, you understand what you have. And then, if there's any missing gaps, like, hey, this one doesn't have living benefits. Is that something that you would want? Then we can search for products. So me being an independent broker, I'm not stuck into only one company. I can go shop around for you and find the best deal and the best benefits too.
And how can someone reach you, Ryan?
They can go to my website, arisumifinancial.com, ARISUMI financial.com, or they can call me, text me. My number is 808-306-9169. Or also my email address is ryan.arisumi@gmail.com.
Well, we want to thank you so much for being our trusted partner, Ryan, and being on today's episode. And with every episode, we like to end with either a joke or inspirational quote. So today I have, some people age like fine wine. I'm aging like the buy two, get one free bottle of the driest red in the grocery store.
Hey, wait, so that means you it's not that you don't get better with age, you just stay the same. So you don't age, right?
Well, however you take it. Yes. However you want to interpret that one. But I'll take it. Well, Where Aloha meets wisdom, one podcast at a time. Until we meet again next week. Ahoy ho.
Aloha.
Mahalo for joining us on this episode of Care for Kūpuna, where we explore health, wellness, and vibrant living for our cherished kupunas. We hope you found inspiration and valuable insights.
Remember, your support can make a difference. 20% of all proceeds from our podcasts go to a nonprofit organization here in Hawaii dedicated to helping seniors in our community. If you'd like to contribute, visit our website at www.carewithak4kupuna.com and make a donation.
Are you a brand or business looking to align with our mission? Consider sponsoring our podcast. Visit our website for more information on sponsorship opportunities.
For those with stories to share, we invite you to be a guest speaker on our podcast. Head over to our website to express your interest and become part of the conversation.
Last but not least, stay connected with us by subscribing to our email list and following us on social media at Care for Kūpuna with a K. Join the Care for Kūpuna community to stay updated on all things related to health, culture, and creating vibrant communities for our elders.
We appreciate your time and look forward to welcoming you back on the next episode of Care for Kūpuna.